Good morning from Christchurch, Canterbury. My name is Shez. You're watching Project Food Garden. Today we're going to talk about growing cucumbers in your food garden. It has been a challenging task in the last few years. We mastered it last year, and we learned how we can grow cucumber in weather conditions which they do change geometrically. Sometimes the drop in the temperature and sometimes the rise in the temperature, it takes a heavy toll on the health of cucumbers. So let us share with you what exactly we have learned in the last 2 years and how come we are getting such good production. So the first thing that you need to do is propagate your own seedlings. Germinate your own seedlings and keep them indoors for the first 2 weeks. Make sure that they're in the greenhouse, they're well taken care of. It's pretty much like the hyper care of the seedling in the first few weeks. So I keep my seedlings once they're germinated indoors for about good 2 to 4 weeks. So the hardening, I've learned it from tomatoes a few years ago. When you germinate a seedling, you put it out in a place like this, where you have the roof on top, but it's open, right? So they do get a lot of sun. They get all the weather conditions, except for the fact that they're not under the sky straight up. So I do the hardening. You can see there's one cucumber vine, which is right under the shed. So hardening is very important. When they get too much sun, they tend to liquidate. If they get too cold, they tend to die as well. So it's kind of a tricky job to do the hardening for these vines. So as you can see, we are doing cucumbers in big pots. Even though we have got space in the garden, but I'm doing it in a pot because, like I said before, the change in the temperature of because of the weather, it does hurt these vines a lot. So this is in a semi-shaded area, so it's doing quite well. Take a look at the quality of the leaves. It does require pruning, which I will do after this video, on the bottom leaves. Don't worry about it if you see the leaves turning this way once your vine is matured. It's absolutely normal. You have to do the pruning. So after the hardening is done, in about 8 weeks time, it comes into a self-sustaining form. It comes into the self-sustaining stage rather. And when it does get heat of the sun, it tends to survive that. So that is the different variety of cucumbers that we are doing. And as you can see, this has grown up till 3 foot. This is comparatively a new seedling as compared with the one in the background. But this has been hardened here under this tin roof for good 4 weeks. And then, once it gets in a self-sustaining form, the first thing that you would notice that it would capitalizing, or it would start getting a healthier trunk, which is very, very important. You need to ensure that the trunk of the plant is healthy, and you need to feed it well. The soil mix that we have for this is the dirt from the garden, a bit of compost, and you can see I've put in recently sheep pellets in there as well, and the health is really good. It's coming into blossoming and fruiting stage. And like I told you before, don't worry about these leaves in the bottom. They will get there. All we need to focus is on top. And before the blossoming of this vine, I have sprayed it with neem oil just to be on the safe side. So once your vine get into a self-sustaining stage, it's only the matter of time before you would start getting fruit from it. And all you need to do is look out for occasional horse manure, sheep manure. It's good for, like I said, I've given this one sheep pellets as well, which is good to go for a few months. And all you have to do is keep up with the hydration. These plants, rather all plants, but especially lettuce, cucumber, tomato plants, they are heavy feeders. So make sure that you feed them well. Now, let me quickly show you the kind of food it's generating. Look at that. There's one, there's another one. This one is going to be ready for harvest pretty soon. There we go. There we go. And there we go. So it's pretty much getting on top of the fence now, and it's doing quite well. And the semi-shaded convention, remember that, don't put your vine straight up in the sun. It needs to get sun, but for a few hours. So when we talk about semi-shaded places for these vines in your garden, that includes the cucumbers. We are also doing bottle gourd. We are also doing in the back, you can see bitter gourd. So this has worked really well with us. I mean, in Asia, we know that the temperatures, they tend to go in about 40 degrees, 40 plus degrees. So you have to make sure that you keep your tomatoes and these vines in semi-shaded areas where they are not exposed directly to the sun for a long time. Because us humans, we tend to struggle when the temperature goes beyond 35, 36 degrees. So these are plants. At the end of the day, they cannot move. They normally stay static. That's why I use pots. If the weather gets really hot, I mean, I can move it on the other side as well. I'll take the thread off from the top and I would move it into the shade. So plants are actually like kids. They totally depend on us when it comes to, survive. But if we do support them during their life cycle, they do the thing that they like doing best. That is to produce fruit and give us the fruit and seed before they go away for the season. And that's why we always save the seed from the produce that we have from our garden. I hope you would like this episode that we have done today. And if you have any questions, any comments, drop them down in the comments. Stay safe wherever you are out there. Have a lovely morning, afternoon, evening, and night. Goodbye.